Hello and welcome to week 3. We're now at the halfway mark. In terms of last week's assignments, you all had some really interesting insight into attachment therapy. It's important to remember that the attachment therapy that was practiced in this case is not empirically or research-based, and therefore it's generally not looked very highly upon in the psychological community. Because some of the forms of therapy involve extreme physical restraints, there have been several instances of child deaths during such therapy, so this is really kind of a cautionary tale for not great treatments for child psychological disorders and why it's important to be somewhat discerning in selecting treatments. You also had some really interesting myths about autism that you highlighted in your posts. A few of you brought up this idea of that vaccines cause autism, and you did a good job debunking that myth. But if you're interested, this is a really great video example. The link is in the email about how the myth developed and why it's wrong. Next week, for this week, you're going to need to start thinking about your final paper if you haven't already. By next Sunday, you'll need to have figured out what disorder you're going to focus on and have developed an outline that you're submitting on Moodle. So remember that all of the grading information is in your grading rubric, and I can pull it up right here. So basically your paper is going to be 5 to 6 pages. You'll need to select a disorder covered in the book and come up with a case study that exemplifies the disorder. It can be real or made up, but if it is a real case, please make sure to change the names and identifying information. And so you'll start with the background of the case as well as background information and diagnostic criteria for the disorder. The next section will describe how the case was diagnosed and what other similar diagnoses do not fit. Then you'll cover the etiology or factors that contribute to the disorder and discuss planned treatment and intervention. And finally, you'll discuss long-term outcomes and draw general conclusions from the case. For the outline this week, what you'll need to do is touch on each of these sections and let me know how you plan to approach them. In terms of other activities, your outline will be submitted right here. For the rest of the week, we're going to be focusing on externalizing disorders. Chapter 9 is on ADHD. I've got a video example of challenges of effortful control, which is something that children with ADHD have a really hard time with. And then our forum will cover gender differences in ADHD. And Chapter 10 is on ODD and CD. And for your forum, I've got another audio example of a real-life case that demonstrates the complexities of distinguishing some of these cases. And you'll need to comment on that, and then you'll have a test on each chapter. So have a great week, and let me know if you have questions.